Hey guys, it's Bree. Today I wanted to show you my little ARC collection that I have, physical ARCs. I do have some from NetGalley on my Kindle, but I'm not going to go over those today. Today these are just my physical ARCs that I have to review.
They are falling over. Oh dear.
But a lot of these have already come out. I think I have one or two that haven't yet, but I got them after they came out. Somebody was giving away a bunch of ARCs and asked if I wanted them for review, and of course they were books, so I said yes. But let's see, how many did I get?
Oh my gosh. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I have 12 books. My goodness, I had no self-control today.
So the first one is Darling Rose Gold, which is coming out March 17th of this year, so it's not quite out yet. This one is about a girl named Rose Gold. First 18 years of her life, her mother basically makes the whole world think she's sick, including her. She's using a wheelchair. She has to go to the hospital all the time. She's constantly sick, constantly on medications. Patty Watts was lying. That is the mother. She's lying the whole time. She ends up going to jail for it, and we pick up when she's getting out of jail and her daughter has to pick her up from jail. And there may be some vindictiveness happening, maybe some scores to settle. I've heard it's a suspense. When I first picked it up, it looks a lot like a contemporary YA based off the pink color and the butterfly. But it's supposed to be pretty creepy. I'm looking forward to it. I read the first chapter of it. Definitely an adult novel, I would say. So I'm looking forward to this one. Next up, we have a fantasy book, I believe. It is Daughters of Temperance Hobbs by Katherine Howe. And this one involves witchcraft.
Oh.
It's a bewitching story of a New England professor who must race against time to break a family curse. And so there's witches and things. The real cover is underneath there. You may recognize it. I believe it's been out for a while now. Came out in June 2019. I've been wanting to read it for a little while, so of course when I saw it, I love witches. Discovery of Witches is probably my favorite witch book by Deborah Harkness. I loved that book. I've read the first two. I didn't read the third book in the trilogy, which if you've watched any of my other videos, you know I usually have issues finishing trilogies. I buy the book and then don't read it. And then this one is The Need by Helen Phillips. This one is a thriller. I believe it's about a mother who feels like she is going completely crazy. She thinks somebody's in her house, and you're kind of going back and forth trying to figure out if there really is somebody in her house. Yes. I've read the first couple chapters of this one. It's super creepy. It makes you question back and forth, and it keeps you engaged. The sentences are kind of short and choppy, and you're not really sure where it's going, and it's just an engrossing sort of beginning to the book, and I really enjoyed the style of it. It came out July 9th, 2019. I've heard pretty good things. I think it's been pretty popular, but I'm super excited to read this. I almost picked it for January book club with the boyfriend, but we decided to go for a slightly longer book. Maybe this one next time. We will see. Next we have The Last Houseguest by Miranda. This one came out June 18th, 2019. It's kind of an eye-catching book. I've seen it around Target a lot, actually. Every time I go in there, it is also a thriller. And it's about a town in Maine where there is a friendship. I think one friend ends up missing, or she may have been killed, and it's just the investigation into that and who did it, how, why. I like these kind of whodunit novels. They're just a good, like, rainy day, you need a break, quick reads. This one's not super long, so I am looking forward to diving into this one. I think it's been picked for quite a few book clubs and been pretty popular. Then we have The Last Book Party by Karen Dukess? Don't know. This one, I wasn't 100% sure what it was about. It came out in July of 2019 also. It seems like a girl trying to prove herself? I don't know. Oh, this says it's a romance. I wasn't expecting that. I haven't read anything about this one. I know it's kind of, this says writing is breezy as the air in this Cape Cod meets Fifth Avenue publishing world. So basically this one involves the world of publishing, and I know there's a young girl who's trying to maybe prove herself. I'm not sure. It looked interesting. I've seen other people write good reviews of it, so I grabbed it. Now this one, I knew I wanted as soon as I saw it because, well, first off, the front says Sarah Blake has written the great American novel, and it's chunky. I like big books, and I cannot lie. But this is the actual cover. I'm pretty sure you've heard of it. It's been super popular. It came out in May of 2019. So it seems like it's going between different time periods, and it talks about racism and power in this family and maybe holding on to power and how that affects their lives throughout generations. I've heard amazing things about it, like all the blurbs on the back. A true gift to the reader, terrific, marvelous, rare, fascinating, remarkable. Can't wait to share it with my customers. Great for book clubs, electrifying, fabulous. When I had this many blurbs, I just needed to read it. But I'm looking forward to it. I read the first couple pages. It seems like it's really well written and be a good kind of slow read. I could be totally wrong. And then Women Talking by Miriam Toews. So this blurb says, as close to a Greek tragedy as contemporary Western novels can come. This is about Mennonite women, and they're discussing different attacks that have been happening. I believe it ends up being men. Yes, it's talking about women being drugged and attacked by men in their community, so probably some trigger warnings associated with this one, but kind of an interesting topic that's not usually covered. I don't think I've ever read a book about Mennonite women or assault in that capacity, so this could be an interesting one for discussion, for learning about different things. If it's done well, I haven't heard anything about it actually. Flawless, ferocious work of art. This is the kind of novel that changes you. Get ready. So I'm assuming this one's going to be pretty emotional. I'm looking forward to it. That sounds weird. I am looking forward to reading it. I'm sure I will be uncomfortable at least once while reading it. This one I knew I wanted to read as soon as I saw it. I think this is actually the first book that I grabbed. This is The Gracier. It is a young adult dystopian novel, and it's supposed to be about feminism, I believe. Basically, there is a year where girls are very powerful, and wow, they believe our skin emits a powerful aphrodisiac of a girl on the edge of womanhood. So it's talking about a certain age of girls when they're considered almost dangerous because of their appeal. And I like dystopians. I'm hoping I like it more than I usually do, because usually dystopians are middle range books for me. I don't hate them, but I don't love them. Then, this is a book that I've been debating reading for a while, Queenie by Candice Carty-Williams. This is about a young 25-year-old Jamaican British woman living in London, and it kind of goes through her life as she breaks up with people and her life's falling apart and how she keeps it together, and kind of, I think it's a finding yourself coming of age novel. I saw it when it was a pick for book of the month. I wasn't sure because I'd seen some really negative reviews about it. And when I got the opportunity to read it for review myself, I decided to go ahead and do it because it just sounds like it'll be an interesting book and a different perspective that I haven't read before. It has a very cool cover. It's that waxy feel to it. This came out in March 19th of 2019, so almost a year ago. And then we have The Monster of Elendhaven, which is published by Tor, and it came out September of 2019, so a little bit more recent. It is tiny. Tiny little fantasy book, less than 200 pages. It's supposed to be a dark fantasy, twisted tale of revenge set in the original world as oily and real as Jack the Ripper's London. It's monsters, fantasy, Jack the Ripper, London, everything I love in fiction kind of put into this teeny tiny little package. So I'm excited about it. I've heard some reviews, not too many actually, that are pretty good. One that I saw was the writer of A Memory Called Empire, which I started reading last year, and I didn't finish because it was the worst year for reading. But I liked her writing, so it made me grab it. I'm excited to read it. Then we have The Beautiful Bad by Annie Ward. And this one, I have no idea what it's about. Doesn't say when it came out. March 19th, 2019. So once again, almost a year ago. We have Look Inside 2019's Thriller of the Year is what this said. Maddie and Ian's romance began with a chance encounter at a party overseas. He was serving in the British Army, and she was a travel writer visiting her best friend Joe. Now, almost 2 decades later, they're married with a beautiful son Charlie and living the perfect suburban life in Middle America. But when a camping accident leaves Maddie badly scarred, she begins attending writing therapy, where she gradually reveals her fears about Ian's PTSD, her concerns for the safety of their young son Charlie, and the couple's tangled and tumultuous past with Joe. So I'm expecting kind of a thriller. That didn't sound that interesting to me, but I'm gonna give it a try because I do usually like thrillers even if they don't instantly draw my attention based off the blurb. This one I picked out just because the cover was super cool. It is The Kingdom by Jess Rothenberg, and it is May 28th, 2019, so less than a year ago. Glimmering like a jewel behind its walls, The Kingdom is an immersive fantasy theme park unlike any other, a place where guests soak in crystal biosphere springs, seek death-defying thrills, and soar on the backs of virtual dragons, where castles loom like giants, and bioengineered species formerly extinct now roam free. It's a really cool twist on like fantasy and science fiction put together, which I started reading more science fiction last year. I might go over that in a future video of the ones that I loved, because I found 2 series that I couldn't get enough of and I still need to finish. But this kind of gave me those vibes mixed with maybe a little bit of Cress and Cinder type stuff with the cover. I'm excited. It looks cool. I don't think I've actually seen a review on this. I'll give it a shot, and the font's pretty big, so it wouldn't take very long. But yeah, these are the 12 books that I picked up. Let's see if I can actually pick them up. Oh, a little heavy. These are, oh, don't hit me in the face. These are the 12 arcs that I have waiting on my shelf to be read. I hope to get to most of them this year or in the nearest future as I work my way through all the books I already have on my 2020 book buying ban. So, if you have read any of these and you like them, let me know. If you hated any of them, also let me know. But hopefully I get to these soon. Happy reading, guys.